Like, I'm so excited and so honored and so grateful that I am ending this week with this conversation. Very happy to have Alex Yonita and Jacqueline Cornejo, social sabbatical alumni, with us today. The session has this kind of powerful title. It's Transformative Impact. And to talk about transformative impact, we are going to refer the social sabbatical experience. First things first, my name is Carolina Gauland. I work with Pixera Global, Regional Lead in Latin America. At Pixera Global, we create innovative solutions to complex challenges through smart partnerships. And the partnership we have with SAP, it's really smart and really beautiful. So, hi, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Honored to be here with you guys.
Great. I thought that it was a great idea to start the conversation showing a little bit about the social sabbatical program, and the 10th anniversary gave the beautiful opportunity to have a video. So let's start with the video so everyone that is listening to this session can understand the social sabbatical program, the purpose, and then we'll start talking. Yes, so Pedro, whenever you want, you can start.
Technology helps us take better informed decisions, but people of the base of the pyramid don't have access to all this information. So we started developing this strategy that aims at bridging this digital gap. If SAP Social Sabbatical wouldn't have arrived on that moment, it would have taken us longer to do what we did. And people living on the edge can't afford to lose time.
If you go to the community, you find lots of solutions there itself. Only we have to scale that so that many people can get benefit out of that. NGO believe in small and beautiful, but as a country, we have 135 crore people and we need a big solution. So SAP Social Sabbatical program help us to think big.
The Social Sabbatical at SAP launched in 2012. The Pro Bono Consulting Program is about placing highly diverse teams of SAP employees with nonprofits and social enterprises around the world to help them address their critical business challenges.
I had the feeling everything, my business acumen, my design thinking, my business model innovation, diversity, and all of these areas and topics that I was more or less isolated, everything connected. And you had the feeling, oh wow, my total past career, everything made sense and now I can leverage everything. And this was a pretty amazing feeling.
It was really good connect before they came to India. And after they came, they visited people and got a clear understanding what are the direct beneficiaries. So they had their preparation very well.
We wanted to scale our program, but we don't have capacity internally. When we come together with Social Sabbatical, we bring that experience together and our content reach about 8 to 10 million children.
Fundación Capital has reached more than 7 million people around the world. With some programs, we have been able to lift people out of extreme poverty. We need to have different ideas, bold ideas, and innovation comes when you can have different people around the table. We receive people from all the levels and from all the areas of Social Sabbatical, and we are still in contact.
When you have a program that lasts for so long, you have to show that it's relevant through all this time. And in a program like this, it's great because you are not the only one. It's relevant for the NGOs, it's a great impact for the volunteers, and also for the company.
I had a couple of promotions after Social Sabbatical that came based on the things that I learned during my coaching sessions.
I actually consider this program a catalyst for growth. I was recently appointed manager of a local team. It really helped me to gain confidence and strengthen a lot my communication skills.
After social sabbatical, I better understood purpose, not just for myself, but also for the organization, focusing on how we can help them continue doing what they are doing, because they are helping their communities. So if we help them be sustainable, we will make a long-term impact.
I gain a lot of confidence in our work. Since we work in very difficult environments, we need to keep flexible. And I was thinking that flexibility made things less rigorous. And I learned that on the contrary, flexibility adds impact to the work that we do.
This was so deep and intense, I will not let these people go. We have a history now.
We want to do things with the client organization, not do things to them. I would like to see the social sabbatical continue to evolve to meet local challenges all around the world.
Social sabbatical gave me the tools to better design and develop programs that really fit the needs and the aspirations of the people.
Okay, we have to bring live this video. I'm so sorry that it was not able to be seen, but maybe when we edit this, we will put it in the right way. Anyways, let's start with our guest. Who are you? Tell us about you. Maybe Alex, do you want to start?
I would say Jacqueline should go first. The polite ladies first.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Jacqueline Cornejo. I am a journey consultant here with SAP Learning. And I was born and raised in Peru for half of my life. However, I reside in the States now with my lovely family. I've got 3 amazing boys who are, the future of SAP, right? The future of the world, and who are continuously learning from our experiences and from the challenges that we put forward. So something like the social sabbatical was a teaching moment for all of us. Alex?
Thank you, Jacqueline. So my name is Alex Yonita. I've been with SAP for a number of years now, and I'm a program manager at SAP. I also come from another country, so I'm residing currently in Canada, but I'm originally from Romania. Lived almost half my life in both countries. So I'm very happy to be here, and I was really happy to participate in the sabbatical and share the experiences. Jacqueline and I were actually in the same team, which is even more of a bonus. So yeah, nice to meet you all.
Great, and thanks for mentioning that. Both Alex and Jacqueline were part of the Argentina team, a very special team because it was in Buenos Aires back in May. I'm based in Buenos Aires, and I had the honor to be also the program manager. And it was like the first team to revamp after 2 years of being quite in pause. Yeah, so very, very special there. Maybe you can share with the audience, yes, why did you apply to social sabbatical, and try to think about your initial motivations and maybe the expectation you had pre-departure.
Alex?
Yeah, okay, let's switch it up now. Okay. All right, so applying to social sabbatical was, let's say, one of the offerings when you get selected in the company for a program. It's one of the best offerings you can apply for. Like the motivation came from a lot of mentors that had talked about being part of the social sabbatical before they presented this. And we realized what wonderful and challenging journeys they had. So for me, really the motivation there was I wanted to first give back because, again, like Romania, when I was growing up, was undergoing a transition. And we had a lot of these similar programs come to us and help us. Like I was actually part of a youth program that they had set up in this way. So that was what I wanted to do, give back. But also I had learned from the others that it would be challenging myself, being outside of my comfort zone, and also meeting wonderful people. And with a twist, right? Like after the pandemic, it was really kind of like an adventure to be outside again and meet people in person. We'll talk about that later. Jacqueline, what about you?
Yes, like you, some of my passions were to give back, and giving back to the community is something that I've done throughout my years. In fact, I started my career working in nonprofits here in the US, and coming into SAP, I always looked for that opportunity to give back, because there is more to the world than just myself and my own success. And when I was introduced to the social sabbatical, I thought the most amazing opportunity coming to me. Not only because it will challenge me in many ways, but it will also really let me see where my strengths lies and how I can actually support others, right? We're talking about we support our customers daily, we support our teams daily, but how could we translate all of these and bring it to another world? Because the reality of life is not everything runs the same in every country, and learning that culture and understanding their needs was going to be such a tremendous opportunity for growth. When I first applied to the sabbatical, I'll be honest, I questioned, will I be selected amongst hundreds of applicants who have an amazing track record, who have been through different tribulations in their careers, and being selected was a catalyst for where I am now.
Thank you. Because the social sabbatical is such an interesting program, and maybe someone that is listening and wants to learn more, maybe gets inspired to do something similar in its company, no? Maybe can you share a little bit about what do you remember it was your preparation to get, before we go and speak about your actually assignment in Buenos Aires, but how was the preparation? What can you recall of that pre-work phase?
The pre-work phase, wow. There was a lot to get ready for. I think that mentally, for me anyways, was the piece of, am I able to let go for a month? And when we say let go, I talk about my own team, my own work, but I'm also talking about my family. It was the first time I decided to actually leave my children with their father, obviously not alone, but without me for a whole month. And that was challenging. It was hard. A lot of what took place for me, both at home and at work, was writing down everything that I did. Training my team, right? So my teammates, I ensured that they knew what the processes look like, what, the tasks that they typically weren't involved in, that I took lead on. I made sure that someone was there and that they had a backup so that they knew how to handle these things, because I wanted to make this easy on my manager, make this easy on them, and make it easy and seamless to my clients. I wanted to make sure that nobody was impacted by my decision to take this opportunity. And I did the same for my children. Made lists for my husband, hire someone to cook meals every once in a while so that he didn't have to take the whole burden of it, right? Some of the tasks that I took charge of willingly, not because he's not capable of doing, but because it's just how things felt, I had to let him do. And I had to be okay with those things being done in a different manner. And that was tough. Alex?
Yeah, so Jacqueline, thanks a lot I agree with everything you said, like learning to let go and trusting that the things will be able to run without you, especially when you prepare the people to do that. Also having that partner support, right? Like my wife told me the first time I told her I got selected, she was like, you have to go, whatever you do, don't worry about us, you have to do this. And that support is amazing. With the preparation phase, honestly, I felt safe. If I can just say that. So Carolina, when we had those calls together, it looked like this was a tried and trusted method. Now we were going into uncharted territory because of COVID-19, but it sounded like we were ready. And in the preparation phase, what helped me a lot was we are going there to learn as much as to give back. So there, just knowing that the people you're going to help know more about the situation than you do is already a bit of a mindset shift. And you go in there expecting to be partners, not just tell people, yeah, okay, this is how we do it in this country, and we have a great plan for you. It's more like going there and listen and try to help listen to their needs before trying to draft a plan and just jumping into action. So that's something I took away with me even afterwards. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, like fast forward, now we are on country, yes? So maybe some of you can share like your project, yes? A little bit of with who you worked, yes? What was the challenge, yeah? So as you are part of the same sub team, it will be any one of you can resume.
Okay, so I can start this time. So just landing in the country, meeting people in person, that was one great, let's say, challenge in a way, because we have to retrain ourselves to work with others. But it was also a delight. Like it was amazing from my perspective. And then meeting the clients in person. We worked with Redactivos, who work with people with disabilities and try to elevate and bring them closer to becoming working members of society and integrating them. So that was an amazing thing to see. Also, you know, how much the pandemic had affected them, how much they wanted to be together. I related a lot with them because we were together now, we were working in a team, and they had missed being in those workshops. There's a lot of workshops in Argentina where people get together to actually produce something that they can sell so they can feel members of society, but also the community they built there. That was amazing to see. And we were building this community in a very short time frame within the group, with the group, with the mentors, with etc., with the rest of the participants. We were 11 in total. So yeah, that was my initial impression with landing. It was amazing from that perspective. Jacqueline, over to you.
I have to agree with you 100%. I think that the twist that COVID added to this first cohort was that relearning that we all had to do, right? Many of us had been in quarantine for a long time. We had kept our own circles. So all of a sudden, landing in another country, moving into a hotel room, getting to meet the other 11 people that you'll be working with and spending that time close together all the time, and relearning how to socialize, right? How do you work? We've been working remotely for so long that now all of a sudden it was foreign to sit together and be able to ideate together and to make things happen. And we saw that our clients experienced the same thing. As Alex has said, that the workshops were really struggling with how do we all come back together and go back to what normal was when everything has changed. And we needed to be as much part of that change as of what our clients needed us to do, right? So that was challenging, but you know what? I think that as we learned, we introduced what we were learning, and things just kind of began to flow. Slowly, it became our normal, and actually, it was an amazing way to do it.
I forgot to mention one thing, because when we landed, we were greeted by everybody, by the team from Pixera, and also the personal assistants that, for example, for me helped a lot with like getting to know the environment, things to do, the language, which was a bit more of a barrier for me than for the other two team members who spoke more Spanish. So that was very helpful as well. I think that you know, we have to thank our personal assistants a lot for that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for the audience to understand like better, a team of 11 was here in Buenos Aires. They work in partnership with 4 social organizations. Both Jacqueline, Alex, and Stefan were part of the Redactivos team, and each team had assigned a project assistant, that is someone like that helped them to navigate, yes, the cultural, language issues, barriers. So thinking about your initial scope of work, no? Maybe also, can you share the initial challenge of the organization, the first ask, and how as a team you were able to work through that? Yes, because that is something that is related to what was challenging and exciting at the same time, I think.
For sure. I think that initially the scope of work, the ask was that we support them with selecting a new system. I come from an HR world. I have very limited knowledge about systems. I have to be honest about that. And when I saw that scope of work, I said, wow, what can I truly give them? What can I do for them? And so as I was on the plane and getting to the process of the first couple of days, I kept thinking, going back to that scope of work, what can I do? What can I give? And at some point I just said, you know what? I need to stop. I need to meet them. I need to hear them. I need to truly understand what it is that's happening in this organization and what will they benefit from the most. Oftentimes we are told, here is what you need, and this will make your life better. But then we feel like it's not changing because we really haven't been able to put out there what it is that is not working, or we haven't even realized ourselves what's not working, right? So I went in on that first Monday with the fresh set of eyes of I need to sit down and listen. I need to truly understand what's going on in the organization. And our scope of work changed because we took that approach. Alex, you want to fill them in on what was the second one?
Sure, but I would also say I completely agree with you. For me, it was also useful in the pre-work to say, usually don't be afraid to challenge the scope of work, right? Because that experience that from running the other projects all over the world, catalyzed into a good, best practice to say, don't be afraid to challenge the scope of work. Look at it with fresh eyes and listen to what they're really saying. Like you said, Jacqueline, there's one thing that what they prepared and another thing that they might actually want. So the system change was definitely something that they were looking for. But what it turned out in the end, after we listened, we interviewed all the team members, is that they needed more, let's say, team cohesion. They were also coming back after isolation, after not having worked or having worked mostly remotely. So they needed. We concluded with them like processes. They needed like a very good alignment between the leadership as well and the team. And yes, we still touched a little bit on the system, but what we've discovered is instead of having a new system, like you were asking, why don't you use the internal one, and why don't you get everyone on the team to at least take a look at it, not be afraid to play around with it. So those were some of the things. We did roles and responsibilities. We taught them a little bit about Agile because that's what we heard. We heard we need to identify our roles and responsibilities, so then we'd know how to use the system or who should use the system. And then we uncovered a ton of little things that they could change. They were already running great. They had all the roles or the knowledge on the team. They just needed a little bit more to organize themselves, let's say, in a better way, or just come together and think about it, reflect on what they were doing and how they could improve. And that was already well, it was a revelation for us as well to say, wow, we can add value even though we won't be able to provide a whole new system. But on the other hand, it was also, I think, a lesson learned from our organization to say, oh, we should spend more time celebrating being together and reflecting on what we're doing to improve. So that's one of the things we took away.
100%. I think if I could add one thing is that what really helped with the organization was that we were not there to tell them. We did not at any point tell them this is what your team needs or this is what you need to change. We had conversations that allow them to see and identify those areas where they could utilize some improvement. Everything that we worked on was because they selected to work on that. It was never something that we went in and said, here is a list of things that you need to do. Now let's start working on them. They talked amongst each other. We all learned to hear each other better, including their own team, and they selected as a team what it is that they wanted to focus on during our time there.
Thank you both. I had the opportunity to have a conversation also live with Javier on Wednesday, also to celebrate Pro Bono. We talk about transferencia de conocimientos, knowledge transfer. And obviously he shared very loud and clear how grateful he was with your intervention and how that changed a lot of things internally, yes? But now I'm gonna ask you, in this kind of knowledge transfer, yes, what do you think like the organization left you, yes? Because it's clear what you left to them, and I will recall the other video for the audience, conversación con Javier Lioy. But now a question for you, what they left you?
So I can start this time. Well, all the organizations, like we were there with Redactivos, Nilus, Decoya, and Plastify, all of them, every time you'd walk into their, or learn a little bit about their operations or walk into their center of work, honestly, it was amazing what they could accomplish. It was really amazing the kind of people they had there, the kind of knowledge. You know, the directors from Redactivos both had corporate backgrounds, and that was so inspiring to see that at some point they said, I will take this knowledge from the corporate world and the structure and rigor that I've learned there, the processes, and I will do something and run my nonprofit organization efficiently to give back to society, right? So what we've learned from there, and actually Javier said this, is that we are one. At the end, he actually mentioned that we are one, and that what that means is that both enterprises, corporations, governments, nonprofit organizations, and people together get to do amazing things. So they were already, as I said before, they already had all the roles, they had all the knowledge. They could teach us a lot of things as well. And what they taught us is maybe to get out of our comfort zone like they did, that teamwork is very important, and that they were challenging themselves every day, and we should challenge ourselves every day. So it gave me courage, personally, to be honest, to have more, to strive for more, or to get out of my comfort zone. So yeah, Jacqueline, what about you?
I agree with you 100%. I think one of my biggest takeaways personally was to slow down. And all of you have heard this before and are probably sick of hearing me say it, but I am still trying to live with that. Oftentimes we run because that's what we're used to. The lifestyles that we live require us to keep moving and not slow down to take things and think through things, or we often take things in stride. And being in Argentina and working with Reactivos and seeing what they were able to accomplish as such a small team allowed me to take those 5 minutes and say, you know what, let's rethink this. Let's sit down, let's have a mate, let's have a cup of coffee and actually talk through what we're trying to do, because that really opens a lot more opportunities. It lets us see what is truly needed, not just the day-to-day grind where we're just working as robots, right? We know what we need to do, we get it done, your day has gone, and what have you really impacted? How had you made a difference? And going to see the talleres and seeing how these individuals work as a team in a community really impacted me, because it is something that we don't often see. We work as a team, we are a team, but really, how are we interacting with one another? Are we just throwing tasks at each other to get our day accomplished, or are we truly engaging? And that was one of the biggest learnings for me, and one of the biggest things that I will be forever grateful to have brought back.
Yeah, 100%. I want to add something, Jacqueline, because you mentioned the team. So the team from Reactivos, our small team of 3 people, the big team of volunteers with the mentorship. So seriously, that was also one of my biggest takeaways. When you work together, and it's all about people at the end, you drop the political games, you drop the professional masks. You're just there and you're working together to improve or striving towards a goal that might seem impossible. Well, impossible becomes possible because of this teamwork. So absolutely, Jacqueline, you're right. That's really a big takeaway.
I am very humbled to recommend an article that Alex wrote, and it was one of my favorites in my career. Yes, we are one. Yes, I think that I will ask the Impact Hub also to reproduce it to a broader audience. I think it's really beautiful what you were able to reflect on that article. So, and you have shared some way. Maybe I would also like to ask, and just to wrap it up, yes, how the impact of the program is still unfolding in you, yeah, in each one of you.
Wow, how is it still unfolding? So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from my teammates. I was very fortunate to have Alex and Stephanie in my team, and they are a wealth of knowledge put together. And with Reactivos, I learned the same things we were teaching Reactivos, I was able to learn myself, put it that way. We did a roles and responsibilities exercise. And as soon as I came back actually before I even came back to the country, I emailed my manager at the time and I said, listen, we need to do this. We need to focus on this. We talked about Agile and how we can become more Agile at work. And yes, I had taken a small training in Agile, but didn't have the time to put it into practice. Well, having that time, that month in Argentina really made me think about what I could do. And I brought that back to my team. I currently still utilize it in my new team. And the knowledge keeps coming back, and the resources, the amount of networking I was able to do. I've reached out to Alex for some resources. I've reached out to other colleagues and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for this now. Can you help me? And the connections you make will take you to so much farther than what you can get to on your own.
Thank you, Jacqueline. You mentioned Agile, and it's funny because it's true. I'm an Agile software engineering coach, and I realized when I came back, I was like, we're not doing this. We're not doing software, but we should totally do this in our program. It would help. And then we've implemented that. But to be quite honest, like when I was looking at the numbers, because the program had shared some numbers with us, and they were like 74% of employees report a long-term impact on their professional careers. I was like, really? And then I realized, oh my God, it's true. Like the first thing that I came back with was a lot more confidence, a lot more a desire to challenge myself. So I had, like Jacqueline was saying, a discussion with my manager, and I put my hand up and I said, I want to take over more responsibility and I want to take over more positions. And it didn't happen immediately, but a couple of weeks ago, I took charge of a big program because I had shown initiative. And I asked my manager, I said, why did you choose me for this? And she mentioned something, because you care about people and you're thoughtful. And I was like, whoa, okay, interesting. I mean, the things that I've learned, to really value people, that social sabbatical helped a lot with that, right? To see the value of our team, the value of our backgrounds, translates into actual, long-term impact on my career. And that was a revelation, and you live with this after the program. You have some reflection, but it gives you a little bit more courage to say, hey, I can make it even in a strange environment, even with a lot of complexity, challenges, as long as I have a team and guidance. Okay, thank you a lot, Carol, for that. We weren't thrown in there, but yeah, it helped a lot with that.
I'm very happy that you mentioned the report, the impact report, because of the 10th anniversary, the social sabbatical, and I will also, we can share it in Hub with the rest of the world. It has very interesting numbers. This conversation was more like showing more in your own voice that impact, but totally, we can share, yes, like how people report changes, like gaining new perspective, increasing confidence, improving networking, having like a stronger sense of belonging, yes. So like the impact of social sabbatical is seen not only in the professional way, but also in the personal way. And I think that both of you are a beautiful testimonial. And of course that we can keep chatting 1 hour. I had a slot of 30 minutes and it has been short. Maybe we can have a part 2, but I am so happy of having this conversation and seeing you again. I miss you. A big also greeting for all the Argentina team. Yes, if they are watching. And I don't know, final words if you want to share something, yes, Jacqueline and Alex, in relation to your experience.
I'm unmuted, so I'll start. Just a big thank you for that. Also, as you said, I miss you too. Like it was nice to see Jacqueline. Every time we have a follow-up call, with the team, and we have one upcoming in a couple of weeks, it's something I look forward to. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna meet the team again, and it doesn't happen with a lot of meetings. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, for the guidance, for the team, the support. Just a big thank you from my side.
Yes, I definitely echo Alex in here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It is life-changing. It impacts you in more than one way, and you see the ripples happening when you least expect it. I really appreciate you, Carol, for everything that you did for our cohort, for myself. These are lifelong friendships. This is not just a coworker to coworker relationship. We do stay in touch, and you are missed greatly. So thank you all for the opportunity and for this forum to allow others to see what this experience is like, so that they can get out of their comfort zone and jump in and be challenged, because you truly will come out with so much more than what you're given.
Thank you very much. Happy Friday. Happy Pro Bono week. Keep living with joy. And until next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, in Papa. Okay. Oh, thank you. Gracias.